Big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who believes that a bull rally cannot be expected in the short run. He also believes that the food security bill will boost agricultural stocks. He remains bullish on Titan as well as Lupin.
Well, I have not done the churn in my portfolio is not more than 5-7% a year. So I am holding pretty much the same stocks. I've added 5-6 of them, but it's not with whether the bull market is going to start today or is going to start tomorrow. I hope my stocks will perform well regardless of bull market.
But do you see for a stock like Titan or Lupin there is enough earnings visibility? What could be the trigger for a Titan? It's a mature business now. It's got a market cap of $6-7 billion.
Well, I don't know. What will trigger negativeness? I mean, if you have 18 to 20% growth, I'm very happy. And I think seeing the size of the economy and the kind of areas the various companies are, and I think that kind of growth is imminently possible.
Even in Lupin, which is a mature business now?
It's not that mature businesses don't grow. I think Lupin is going to grow greater than 18%.
3 years ago on the same forum, you indicated to me that Lupin deserves to be a Nifty stock. Bravo, Lupin is now a Nifty 50 stock. Do you think Titan could be the next Nifty 50 stock?
Well, I don't know, but I think it certainly deserves to be. First of all, there are no retailing stocks in the index, and Titan, I think, is a retailer with the highest market cap, and it has an incredible record of performance. So I think it will in time. I feel confident.
A couple of years ago, you had indicated to me that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala believes in buying mid-cap stocks which have potential to become large-cap stocks.
Well, that effort is always there, but that effort also is fraught with danger. So, I mean, we try and buy. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't.
So let me rephrase my question. Since the most important number in Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's life is 2020, out of your existing portfolio, which is one mid-cap stock in next 8 to 10 years could be a large-cap stock?
Well, I told you, why do you want to discuss my portfolio? It's not about my portfolio. I mean, there are a lot of stocks which will do well. They may not become large caps. But I think I'm confident my portfolio should do well.
What has differentiated Rakesh Jhunjhunwala from other investors is that your ability to spot businesses which have predictable earnings and they go through a huge PE expansion. Where to your mind there is a secular earning story in India and there is scope for a strong PE expansion, the typical Rakesh Jhunjhunwala investment style?
Well, I don't want to name any scripts, but if investors search, they'll find many scripts.
What's on your radar in terms of a theme then?
Nothing on my radar. Whatever in my radar, I bought already.
Most of the investors, they are often secretive about what they buy and what they sell. But your book is a public book. You always buy in public. You buy in your name. You never like to keep secrets, is it?
No, I mean the question is secret is whatever I have to statutorily declare under the requirements of the Companies Act or SEBI requirements. I have to declare what can I do about it. And I don't want to buy shares in Benami names, and I don't want to buy shares in companies and cloud behind them. So, I mean, I do whatever is statutorily required. I have never made a disclosure in Lupin because I never owned 5%. If I buy more than 5%, I have to disclose.
You've always maintained that you're extremely bullish on retail. Why is that?
Because if you look at, in the next, retail grows as much as nominal economic growth. If we are going to have, we are going to do a $2 trillion economy. By 2020, we're a $5 trillion economy. So retail will be a $1 trillion business or more. I would say $1.2 trillion business by 2020. And it's only 5%, 7% organized today. So for 400 billion, you go to 1 trillion. And 10% which is organized itself will go to 100 billion. And if instead of 10 you have 25, you'll have 250 billion. So the kind of growth that's possible is unbelievable. And that's what makes me bullish.
You're also bullish on agri because you've invested in Rallis.
Yeah, but I think there is no question, but we have to raise agriculture productivity. Food demand is going up year on year. Land is not available. Further urbanization leads to even lesser availability of land. And fruit it's a challenge. The only way you can do it is through technology. And India has some of the lowest yields in the world. We are using the lowest amount of agrochemicals, seeds. So there is a lot of scope, and the farmer is getting a better price. And I think as time passes, he's getting even a better price.
So the volatility in Rallis numbers, that doesn't bother you?
Well, I think it's a long-term secular story. Quarters come and go, it doesn't make a difference.
So how often do you track your long-term portfolio? Do you get bothered, do you get perturbed about the daily volatility, monthly volatility, or you don't track that at all?
I don't track all that. As long as I feel confident about the performance of the company, and sometimes I made a lot of mistakes also, right? But I mean, the investment is, let's look at 2020. So that's where I think, I mean, if I think what I believe and perceive about 2020 is true, a month or 2 months or 6 months is not going to matter.
Over the years, you've been bullish on one group, which is the old generation private bank. You've got two investments there, Federal Bank and Karur Vyasya Bank. Yeah. What makes that space so exciting? Because you've never invested large money in any of the PSU banks for that matter.
See, banking is about trust, and I don't trust the government. Right? Second thing is, you see the expense ratio to income ratio of the public sector banks never comes down, which is a very important ratio. So there is no benefit of scale. And third thing is, I mean, I have investment to banks, fairly large. So then I don't want to take exposure to a new bank.
What about the asset quality of some of these banks? Because one would argue that they don't have the size or the reach.
Well, Karur Vyasya always has only 0.20 basis points. It's got very good asset quality. Federal Bank had some problems that which they are correcting, and I'm confident they will be able to do it.
Every good investor has winners and laggards. Are you bothered about any of your laggards? Are you confident that when economy will turn around, they will also pick up?
Well, that's the hope. But what I feel also earlier, when I used to make an investment and I realized I've been wrong, I had a very big sense of procrastination. No, things will turn. Now I'm much more prone to exit an investment if after making it I feel it's not the right investment or it's not the correct.
But do you think Indian market is a very well researched market now? It's going to be difficult to pick up Infosys or a Reliance or a Titan now?
I was just reading that there are only 51 scripts in India in which more than 50 analysts cover it. Out of 51 scripts, 49 are in India.
The other one is Apple and Intel. So the Indian markets are a very well researched market.
Yeah, well researched at the large cap size. On the large, you asked me earlier a question of, mid caps going into large caps. Yesterday was CRISIL's 25th anniversary. Now I want to tell you with emotion, we need quality of companies like CRISIL. We need quality management with integrity. Right? We need the size of the economy to expand. Then we will have a lot of mid caps who become large caps.
An average investor who has not participated till now is suffering with this, commitment phobia. Your advice is that take a dip.
Always. It's all, and Nikun 15-18% post-tax return. I don't think is possible in a lot of asset classes. I think 15% return, I'll be surprised if you don't get it. Returns could be as high as 20-24%.
On your large portfolio, you expect that kind of an compounding?
I surely expect 18%. If I get 24%, I'll be a king. If I get 18%, I'll be happy.
I know you want to avoid stock-specific chat here, but I'm just tempted to ask you about two more stocks because you've invested in them. This is public information. Delta and Sterling Holidays, you've invested in them 3 years ago. I was looking at the numbers. The numbers have been slightly volatile. Is your investment thesis getting challenged?
Not at all, because in Delta there is scaling up. I mean, they will have 6 times by March they will have 6 times the capacity or 8 times the capacity, not 6 times the capacity they have now. Right? So we will really know in future. And the Sterling Holidays also is, they require some further funds. They have to refurbish all the resorts which in the process of doing. See, these are investments which will dot upon dot, dot upon dot, dot upon dot. They will explode when the circle is complete. But to complete that circle is going to take time.
So you think the scale or the size of opportunities is humongous for both these companies?
Absolutely.
Since you've taken a pledge that by 2020 you will donate 1/4 of your wealth. So in the run up to 2020, what could change for Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and what will change after that?
See, the change doesn't come after telling you. It comes by its own. So I myself, see, I'm an Indian person. I don't mind anybody's money. I can tomorrow walk away from a profession. But I don't know what I'll be doing. I don't know what change will come. I hope the only good change is that I improve my habits.
But you're aligning your portfolio with that 2020 number. That's the sense which I get.
No alignment. I'm thinking that will be the age I'll turn 60. That will also be the age, I think, when we will have surely a bull market, maybe a raging one.
I always wanted to ask you this question. Do you have an exit strategy in your mind? Because I'll give you this example. When you sold a token quantity in Lupin about 2 years ago, that created some amount of stir.
But what happened? What did happen? I sold at 450, today the price is 600. So what does it matter?
But your followers, I mean, if you sell some stock, people track you.
Why should, I mean, if I have 100 shares and I sell 5, sir, I also have other needs. I also need to reduce exposure in certain shares because they become too large part of my portfolio. So, I mean, I think, and see, people don't want to buy when you tell them to buy. People don't want to sell when you tell them to sell. So it's not easy to do what others do. And I'm not bothered. And I have large quantities, they can always be sold.
Let me just look at the personal side of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, something which I always discuss. You interviewed Priyanka Chopra 3 years ago. It was Deepika Padukone 2 years ago. This year it was Nargis Fakiri. How does your wife react every time when you interview some of the beautiful actresses?
She feels very happy.
She's never jealous?
She says, Buddha kahan jayega jao.
But your friends tell me that your wife is still your lucky charm because every time you make a big investment, you buy shares in her name.
Well, I don't necessarily buy in her name. But even the palmists tell me and the astrologers tell me, every time I have to accept that she is extremely lucky.
Your twins, Aryaman and Aryaveer, they'll turn 4 soon in March. Have they started recognizing you every time you come on TV? Do they get excited?
Absolutely. Now though sometimes they get bored. Initially used to get excited, Papa's on TV, now they see it so many times. Doesn't affect them at all.
You're a public face now. You are the folk hero of Indian stock markets. When you walk on street, I'm sure you're recognized. I'm sure people approach you for tips. How do you deal with that situation?
I say tips are hazardous for health.
Even
until the person asking is a beautiful girl, then I always...
So how do you deal if a beautiful girl is asking you a question?
Then I try to divert the attention to non-stock markets. Anyway, I always tell them tips are hazardous for health. And they are. You can't make money on borrowed knowledge. And people have the impression that we have made the money very easily and we will make the further money very easily.
I may sound slightly repetitive with this one, but let's wrap the show on this note. What is Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's long-term, medium-term and short-term outlook?
Well, long-term I'm bullish. Medium-term could be uncertain, short-term bullish.